Hi yogis, welcome to day 2 of Yoga Connection. Today is connection to breath. In yoga we call our breath work pranayama. Pran meaning energy or life force, and ayama meaning connection and control. So we're learning how to control the breath so that we can then gain control of our mind and body. And so it's also very fascinating about breathing because it is one of the only parts of ourselves that is voluntary as well as involuntary. And through our breathing in and out of the nose and slowing down with breathing in yoga, we're actually tapping into the parasympathetic system. The sympathetic system is our fight or flight. It's like what can I do? Where am I going? The heart rate rises, the blood pressure rises. With our parasympathetic system, we're really slowing down and gaining control of the calmer side of ourselves, slowing the heart rate and our mind as well as body. So let's get started. We'll start on hands and knees today. Starting with the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Starting with our breath work in cat and cow. So inhale, opening the belly, opening the heart. And exhale, rounding through the spine to cat pose. Inhale, opening through the chest. And exhale, rounding through the spine. Again, inhaling, really letting the belly expand. And exhaling, engaging the core, really letting the breath all the way out. Inhaling one last time to cow. And exhaling to cat. Coming up onto the knees, you can stay on your mat as you are. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see a little easier. We'll extend our right leg out to the side, bringing the arms up to a T. We'll drop the right hand down to the leg, raising the left arm up over to the side. The inhale brings you back to center. The left arm can drop down onto the hip, right arm overhead, or the fingertips might reach the ground. Repeating that a couple more times, inhaling back through center. And then exhaling, right arm low, left arm high. Inhaling up, left arm onto the hip or low, right arm overhead. Really stretching into the lower back as well as side body. Inhale last time, right arm low, left arm high. This time as you come up through center, we're moving into an inner thigh stretch. So you might walk the hands forward and this could be plenty. You might also walk the right foot out to the side and then shift the hips back for a little bit deeper of a stretch. Again, if you arrive somewhere and that doesn't feel good in the body, come back to a place that does. Breathing wherever you are, inhaling and exhaling, releasing the chin towards the chest. Really focusing on that connection to breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Last time, inhale and exhale, coming back onto hands and knees. One round of cat and cow, opening through the spine. And exhale, rounding the back. And again, coming back up and taking the opposite side. So standing up on the knees, the left leg extends out to the side, arms come to a T. Inhaling. And then now the left arm lowers, the right arm reaches high. You may bring the gaze up as well. And inhaling up through center. Exhale, right arm comes to the hip or ground, left arm overhead. Inhaling back to center, left arm low, right arm reaching up. Inhaling and exhale, right arm low, left arm up. Last time, inhaling up through center, reaching over to the side. And then as you come up, moving into that forward fold. Again, it might feel really different on this side. Feels good to bring that right toes to center and maybe walk that left foot out a little bit and then extend the arms out. Again, you can sit the hips back if that feels good for you, but just find a spot that feels supportive in the stretch versus pushing your limits. Slowly walking back up through center, coming back onto hands and knees. And moving to downward facing dog, tucking the toes under, shifting the hips high, bending through one knee and then the other. Pedaling the feet out, again, finding length from the wrists all the way up to the hips. Bending the knees as much as you need so that the lower back and heart can reach towards the earth. Again, you can shake the head, yes and no. And then slowly walking the feet towards the top of the mat, coming towards a forward fold. Pretty deep bend in the knees here. Grabbing opposite elbows and just kind of rocking side to side. Releasing the hands down, bending through the knees, slowly rolling up to standing. Just taking a slow round of sun salutation. Inhale, bringing the arms up. And exhale, hands through heart center. Repeating that again. Inhale, arms come up. And now bending into your forward fold as you exhale, really aligning the breath with the movement. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, placing the hands down and stepping back to plank. You can stay here with the knees up or down, it's up to you. We'll just take a breath here to find our strength, inhaling. And then exhale, lowering all the way onto the stomach. Untucking the toes, pushing through the tops of the feet, rolling the shoulders down the back and opening into cobra. And exhale, fold. From here, pushing back to downward facing dog. Bending into one knee and then the other. And then the knees come down, toes come to touch for child's pose. The forehead might find the ground. If the forehead doesn't reach the ground here, you can always grab a block and place it underneath the forehead. We just want the forehead to feel really relaxed here. Slowly walking the hands over to the left side of the mat. We'll release the forehead back down. And breathing into the right side body. Inhaling. And exhaling. Walking the hands back through center. And then over to the right side. Knowing that the breath might feel a little short, but we want to slow it down. Even though there is movement, we want to stay connected to that parasympathetic system. Walking the hands back through center. And coming up onto your feet for a moment, letting the hips fall to either side. And coming to a comfortable seat. So for this portion, I'm gonna give offerings of lots of different props, but it's totally up to you to choose your pose. You might not need props, you might wanna add on lots of props, it's up to you. We're really just trying to gently get into the lower back now that we're a little bit warmer. So I'm gonna offer using a bolster for the legs in a little bit, as well as a blanket. So for the blanket, I recommend sitting up on the blanket. You can fold it a couple times, it's up to you. We just wanna raise the hips up a little bit. And then we'll extend the right leg out in front of us, keeping the left leg bent. If you find you don't really want the hips on the blanket, you might actually remove the blanket and place it under the knee instead. Again, you don't have to use any props as well. Inhale, raising the arms high. And then exhale, lowering the hands onto the ground or wherever they land. It might be on top of the thigh, it could be down, just depending on where your body is at today. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale, release. Maybe even closing the eyes as you rest the chin towards the chest. Really allowing yourself this time to slow down and calm down. Slowly walking the hands back up through center. And switching sides. So now we'll bend the right knee in and extend the left leg long. Inhale, raising both arms. And then exhale, gentle forward fold. Again, a lot of times we think we want to grab the toes, but just let the arms relax so that the shoulders can ease and we can just focus on the lower back. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale, releasing forward. Slowly bring the torso back to center. And for the next pose, we want this to be a really just easy forward fold. So I'm actually going to use my bolster for this one. Again, if you want to sit up on the blanket, that might feel good. If you have a couch cushion or a couple pillows, that's fine. You don't have to use a bolster. We're going to place the bolster underneath the legs. So for me, my legs don't even touch the ground here. But we really, again, we're focusing on the lower back and letting the hamstrings completely leave this situation. We just want the lower back to release. So when you arrive, just releasing the chin to the chest and settling in. If you want the forehead to be touching something, you could grab a block. You can place the forehead on a block, depending on what your body needs. We'll be here for 5 breaths. When you arrive, make sure you stay connected to your breath. Sometimes when we find stillness, that involuntary breathing might take over, but we want to stay present and focused with our practice. One more breath here, inhaling and exhaling. Slowly coming back up, removing the props. And we'll meet on our backs, and we will use a block. So if you don't have a block, just grabbing a stack of books or anything that you can just raise your hips up a little bit for a pose that we're about to do. When you do come onto your back, setting your hips up so that setting your feet up so that they're pretty close to your hips and about hips width apart. The palms will be facing down on the ground. Coming into a bridge pose, so a little bit of strengthening for the lower back before we really relax. Pushing through the hands and feet will raise the hips up towards the ceiling. Coming into bridge. Tucking the chin to the chest so that the jaw and throat can relax. You may even roll the shoulders under one at a time and interlace the fingers behind the back. You might close the eyes and just again connect back to the breath. Releasing the hands if you did take the clasp. Releasing the shoulders and bringing the hips back down. And for the next pose, we'll do the same thing, but we're going to use the block this time. So a restorative bridge pose. So we're placing the block underneath the sacrum. So you can have it on the lowest setting or the medium setting. It's up to you. Hands can rest on the hips or on the ground, wherever they feel best. And if you've put it underneath and you're like, I'm not sure if this feels right, super normal. It took me a while to figure it out. Something I like to do is just raise my feet off the ground. And if it feels pretty balanced, great. If you raise up and you're like, whoa, make a little adjustment and then you should feel really supported. Again, this is restorative. So we want this to be low energy, really connecting again to that parasympathetic nervous system. See how long you can make the inhale.
and how much you can let go during the exhale. You can stay where you are, or you may raise your legs towards the ceiling. The knees can be as bent as you'd like. We're just going to aid in circulation here a little bit, letting the blood flow towards the heart center to be re-oxygenated. And then once we release, it'll flow back up with fresh oxygen from our breath. Slowly releasing the feet down, taking your time, removing the block when you're ready. And then we'll walk the feet out towards the edges of the mat and just let the knees fall to center, just taking a moment of constructive rest so that the lower back can relax. Walking the feet back to center, opening the arms out into a T. We'll let both knees just gently fall over to the left. If the neck feels all right today, you can look towards that right hand, adding a little bit of a twist for the cervical spine as well. Slowly inhale, bringing your legs back to center, and then letting your knees drop over towards the right. Again, you can look towards that left hand if the neck feels okay. If the neck is tight at all, though, just look towards the ceiling. And now in this twist, see how the breath feels. Might feel a little more compressed, but can you still find just as long as a breath? Inhale, bringing your legs back to center. Pulling the knees towards the chest. You may even raise the head off towards the knee for a moment. And then slowly extending the legs long for Shavasana. If you feel like the lower back is still a little tender, of course you can place the feet on the ground, knees pointing towards the ceiling. So now allow that involuntary breath to take over. We've done the work of awareness of breath, and now we're going to let the body take over so the mind can really let go. Allow your awareness to connect back to the breath. Maybe taking a really deep inhale and exhale. Gently moving into the fingers and toes. And when you're ready, bending the knees and rolling over onto either side, using your upper arm as a pillow for the head. And using as little energy as possible, making your way up to any comfortable seated position. If you want to sit up on any props, that's fine. And we'll meet with our hands together in front of the heart. Taking just one moment to thank yourself for showing up on the mat today and for committing to this 30 days of taking care of yourself, to connect back to those parts of ourselves that we cherish and love. Always know that the light within me is very honored and proud to witness the light and love within you. Namaste. Yay! Congratulations on day 2 of Yoga Connection, our first physical practice. Now we have a little better idea of when someone looks at us and say, whoa, take a breather. We know what they're talking about. I'm so proud of you for showing up, and I'm so excited for the next 28 days. If you want to connect on Instagram or Facebook or anything, we're using the hashtag Yoga Connection. It's a nice way to see who else is practicing all over the world, and I'll be taking part of it as well, so you'll get to see all my little things going on. You can find us at YOGATX on Instagram, as well as EmilyHenderson_yoga to connect with me personally. I'm so excited to see you on the mat tomorrow and hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.